Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful day. It is. Even though we're in the pitch black dark, right? Now, I believe a good amount of y'all know me from Instagram and or TikTok, right? I've been posting a lot of content, basically telling you it's time for a new nigga, right? And the responses that I've been getting under those videos really opened my eyes. I didn't realize how deep of a collective, not only for one, I was tapped into energetically, but then I didn't realize how big of a collective was dealing with narcissistic abuse, heartache, trauma, and just overall abuse. Like, just being very frank. I've heard a lot of gaslighting stories. I've heard a lot of breadcrumbing stories. I've heard a lot of abuse stories. I've interacted and been with women who then gave me horror stories. To this day, they probably still have stitches in their body from the abuse that was done to them. And you see, this is a real sensitive and real topic because in this generation, in black culture, I'm gonna be honest with you, you guys are very unprotected. Now, you guys know this, but our black counterparts, our males, us, we don't like to acknowledge that as much as we should. There's a gender war happening that we don't necessarily see. The older generations probably can see it a little bit clearer than we can. But there's a lot of instances where men are doing blatant things that's causing trauma within the relationships. And the women are operating from their unhealed inner childs. So it's a trigger and a wound coexisting in one place. Let me give you an example, right? I was at A1 Burger yesterday, right? And there was this lady that was standing in line. She got there, stood there for a second. Then this random Armenian dude hopped out, very confident, just, you get what I'm saying? Like he was mean mugging a little bit, but he's Armenian. You feel me? So as somebody from the community, we were just like, oh, why is he acting like this? But you feel me? It is what it is. He gets in line. The dude says next or whatever the case may be, and he cuts her. And the dude next to the dude tells him oh, she was ahead of you. He kind of blows him off. So the girl, this older African lady, she's sitting there kind of getting livid, a little bit irritated. She's like, hello, sir, like you're cutting in front of me. Like, no, he needs to take my order first, whatever the case, And he's blatantly ignoring her. And then when it was time for him to take his order, he walked up with her yelling, with her throwing a fit, knowing that he was in the wrong, and ordered his food anyways. So when it was time for her to order, she went up to the dude, she went up to the window, and she was throwing a fit with the person who took the order. She was like, you saw him cut me. You better make my food before you make his, because this is a long ass wait. Anybody who goes to A1 Burger knows that ain't no quick ass food. You gotta wait a little second. So you watched him cut me, and she was low-key a little irritated, a little bit angry. And right then and there, I started to see why black women have this stereotype of the angry black woman. We be doing blatant shit that would trigger the fuck out of anybody. And while I was standing there, I was like, I low-key want to say something. I low-key want to check this nigga. I don't like the way he just did her. But you see, as men, we have these periods where we have to be analytical too. You have to be aware of where you're at. And you have to be aware of the extremities of what certain actions can bring you. And if those extremities were worth the actual interaction. In the back of my head, I'm like, just be quiet, mind your business. It's just food. You get what I'm saying? Truthfully speaking, the woman's okay. If he was to do anything out of pocket, truthfully start popping it or even put his hands on her, okay, yeah, no, it would have gotten nipped in the bud. But something as simple as being cut in line, I don't think this is worth, me risking it, taking it to that next level. You feel me? Men have to honestly gauge our situations very clearly. But to tie it back to, the women, I can see clearly why you guys act the way that you act, because there's no quote unquote protection for you guys. And that's why it made me feel kind of guilty in that moment, because I was like, she seems so unprotected right now. Somebody cut in front of her. The dude that was next to her tried to say something to the dude. He blew him off. The cashier ignored her. There was so many men that kind of you know what I'm saying, that could have interjected or tried to interject, and it just wasn't clicking to him. And it's like certain people, you have to take it to that next level, get aggressive with them. But it's like, okay, why do we even have to get to that point where we have to get aggressive with each other in order for somebody to have common decency, to have some levels of respect? And you see, to tie the and outside of that Armenian dude, we do it too. You know, our own culture. We be calling y'all B words. We trying to stack up our bodies. We think it's playa to have multiple women. It's not a lot of dudes that I know that are truthfully like, I want one girl, that's it. And then they're just leaving it at that. The ones that I see that's in that headspace, it usually comes with time and experience because they went through the phase of effing on everybody. Why? Because that was the culture that was portrayed to them in our youths. And that's when we started to act out. And crazy enough, the culture took a toll on us, and it takes age a lot of the time because, you know, with age comes experience for you to see that certain lifestyles and certain ways of living wasn't cohesive to what we were trying to get to. This whole culture is twisted. You know, you women are like, you guys aren't perfect at all. You guys aren't, you know, angels at all. You guys have mouths. Like we said, the angry black woman thing, I get it, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all could be kind of on edge a little bit. Y'all are quick to want to check somebody. Y'all are quick to want to put somebody in check. You are quick to want to be right sometimes when that's not necessarily the right thing to do. You know, there's been so many instances where it was like, I run into women where it's like, if you were just honest with me, if you just let your guard down, like stop looking at me as if I'm trying to hurt you. I understand that you've been hurt, but just the fact that you're treating me as if I'm the one who hurt you is hurting me. And it's making it very hard for me to pour into you and love you properly because you're not seeing me from the correct lenses. You're seeing me from the lenses of the niggas who did you wrong in the past. So now that I'm trying to get a little bit close to you and understand you and potentially heal and grow from these things, you're seeing it from a distorted point of view. A lot of women are doing that to good men. Now, when a good man has dealt with enough of that bullshit, that turns him into a pretty bad man. That turns him into an asshole. That turns him into the person who just wants to F on things and just live his life and make his money. Because it's this culture, is too much back and forth. There's too much push and pull between us. Now, I think in order for us to move forward from this, we have to get to a point where we have better levels of self-esteem, self-awareness, and emotional intelligence. You see, when you run across somebody who is fucked up, when you run across somebody who's at a low vibrational frequency, let them sit at that low vibrational frequency, but you don't intertwine with that shit. You miss the lesson. Block that shit. When you start seeing somebody's being toxic, when you start seeing somebody don't know how to talk to you correctly, when you start seeing somebody has a very just hideous lifestyle, their energy isn't where it needs to be, remove yourself. Don't fall in love with that. Don't create an attachment to that. Go create attachments to the ones who do love you, the ones who do have their life somewhat in alignment, somewhat in order. Nobody's imperfect, but goddamn, you can see when somebody's truly trying their best. You got to stick next to those, not the ones who do nothing but take your energy from you. And the quicker we hold ourselves to higher levels of self-esteem and we have higher standards for ourselves, is going to force the culture and the environment around us to shift. Because the ones who isn't sitting on that frequency, they're going to start feeling like they're missing out, like they're not getting everything that's available to them. And that's going to cause them to what? Get into alignment.